The Toronto Raptors came crashing back down to earth after a Game 7 loss to the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference semi-finals. With star Fred VanVleet and OG Anunoby's contracts coming to an end, cap space is going to be a very important issue for the Raptors in this coming offseason. With Giannis becoming a free agent at the end of next year, I'm pretty sure most teams around the league will want to make sure they keep open a max spot to try and sign the two-time MVP. Mike, what do you reckon the Raptors should do this offseason?
I think the Raptors have a lot of decisions to make for the future. They'll still contend. They have Nick Nurse as coach, and he's one of the best coaches in the league. I don't think they're ever going to get rid of Lowry. I think he's going to retire as a Raptor. But in terms of their other pieces, VanVleet, Ibaka, Gasol's obviously gone. They have a bunch of decisions to make. Should they re-sign those guys? Should they let them walk? And I think that Toronto needs to move in a more youth-focused direction. They need to start building for the future. Yeah, they have a bunch of good guys off the bench, the Davises, the Bouchers, and I think they should go in that direction. Give those guys more minutes, let VanVleet go. Unfortunately, as good as he has been for the Raptors in the playoffs, his contract would simply just handcuff the Raptors for too long, and especially if they want to join the Giannis sweepstakes in 2021, they need to keep that cap space open. So if I'm the Raptors, I'm going in a more youthful direction. I'm letting all these older guys go.
AP, what do you reckon the Raptors should do this offseason?
They need some bigs. You saw when they versed Boston, they didn't have that actual good big. They had Siakam, who was just his spin move was just so predictable for them.
All right, Liam, what do you think the Toronto Raptors should do?
The Toronto Raptors, they need a number one scoring option. They tried that with Siakam this season, and it didn't quite pan out in that playoffs. It was kind of found out by the Celtics. And that's not to say that Siakam can't be that kind of number one scorer, but I think he's better suited to being the second fill. Obviously, I think for me, the Raptors should really try and get Bradley Beal. I don't think the Wizards are going to let him go. I don't really see that happening. So more realistically, I think Victor Oladipo has the potential to be that number one scorer that the Raptors need. Back in 2018-19, he was actually playing the Raptors when he had that horrific injury, which put him out for an extensive period of time. And he's come back and he hasn't really been in the Pacers' plans. I think they're kind of going more towards, because Miles Turner and Victor Oladipo are both out of contract. And I think the Pacers are only going to be able to keep one of them. So I think Oladipo could be the kind of guy that the Raptors should go after.
Yeah, I think the Raptors could look in-house as well. Like, they do have some scoring options. We saw Powell getting a lot of touches, especially late game for the Raptors in that Boston series. And they could try and let Norman Powell take over some of those scoring responsibilities from losing Fred VanVleet. In terms of what they should do with what AP said before, getting a big man, I think that would be an important move for the future. The Raptors have one of the best developmental staffs in the league. They've developed a bunch of second-round guys to be pretty good players. So they will probably draft some random center or some random power forward, and he'll turn out to be playing on an all-star level this year. I have no idea who it could be, but I'm sure Masai and those guys know who they're looking for right now. They have the 29th pick in the draft. So they're probably going to find a diamond in the rough with that pick. So if I'm the Raptors, I'm looking to add some big men, especially with Ibaka probably leaving, Gasol being gone. Pascal Siakam can't play center, so finding someone to fill out that center position for them.
For me personally, I'd be keeping Ibaka if they can. If they can get him to kind of negotiate on that contract, which will be hard. And then I'd like to see them continue to develop OG Anunoby. He obviously hit that huge shot in Game 3 to save the Raptors from going down 3-0. He's currently a 3-and-D player, but I reckon he can definitely take his game to the next level. He's coming out of contract at the end of next season, so the Raptors will need to kind of keep that in mind as well. So cap space is going to be, it's kind of the Raptors' main thing, because they've got $30 million cap space at the end of this season, and they're going to obviously decide whether they keep Fred or not. And if they obviously choose against that, they've got $46 million available at the end of next year, which obviously keeps their options open for that Giannis potential free agency.
Giannis and Pascal Siakam, they're quite similar players, right? They rely a lot on inside scoring. They're not amazing on the three. Siakam's obviously the better shooter out of the two. But is having both of those pieces next to each other a good move moving forward? Or do you think they should maybe look towards trading Pascal Siakam so that they can, fit Giannis in a little bit better? Do you guys think that they should trade Pascal Siakam, especially while his stock's so high?
You make a really good point there, Mike, that Spice P and Giannis probably wouldn't work all that well together, because we saw the Bucks kind of get exposed in this year's playoff run. But I suppose Spicy B does have a bit of a more consistent jump shot. Yeah, but gee, it is a very good question.
From what I've heard, Toronto is on Giannis's top 3 for places to go. He has ties to Masai. Obviously, it's like a very multicultural team that they have up there. But yeah, like if they want Giannis, they're going to have to let go of some of their guys. But like they're not definitely getting Giannis. So
yeah,
would you guys gamble by like... Because that's pretty much what this whole offseason is for the Raptors. Do they let go of Vanvleet because they want to stay in the Giannis sweepstakes? Should they let go of Ibaka because they want to stay in the Giannis sweepstakes? And I'm adding that Siakam aspect because not a lot of people have thought about this. Should they trade Siakam so that Giannis is a better fit?
You don't know with Toronto. I mean, they've made some really good gambles before, as we saw with Kawhi when they traded DeRozan for him. So, you know, I mean, I feel like whatever they do will be the right thing because they've been run extremely well for the past few years.
AP, you mentioned Kawhi. He's got a player option at the end of next year. So potentially Kawhi could return back to Toronto if they miss out on Giannis, which very unlikely, but it's worth noting.
Yeah, I think a lot of the teams, especially the ones who are contenders and they have great cores, like the Raptors, a lot of them are thinking ahead to that 2021 free agency period. And, you know, there's a bunch of big names in that free agency class. And I think it would be unwise for the Raptors to, you know, just sign Vanvleet to a long-term contract. What I could potentially see them doing is giving him a big 1-year contract, overpaying him a little bit this year, and then letting him go on free agency the year after. That could potentially be a move, you know, keep, you know, Lowry and Vanvleet together while, you know, giving them some options for next year. So I could see that happening. The Raptors have good coaching. They will make the most out of their pieces that they have.
Just to quickly add to that, Mike, there's the rumor that the Knicks will offer VanVleet $22 million in a contract, which could be long term as well, which VanVleet might find appealing. That kind of guaranteed money, which, you know, if the Raptors are going to throw him a 1-year deal, it might be a bit. He might take that a little bit disrespectfully as well, especially after helping them win a championship last year. I think they've got to be really careful with that Fred VanVleet situation. He's obviously very much loved in Toronto because he was very key to winning that chip. So yeah, it's a very fine line for Toronto, but this offseason, like they need a number 1 scoring option. So I'd be going heavily after Oladipo, taking a risk on him. You know, we don't know if he's going to go back to how good he was, but I'm willing to take that risk on Victor Oladipo. So if I'm the Raptors, I'd be trying to make that work.
Yeah, they can try to pursue him. Really good defender. And they're a team that are built around defenders, so
sure.
Yeah, that would work.
For you Toronto fans watching, NBA fans, comment down below, what do you think the Toronto Raptors should do this offseason? Should they sell out and try and get Giannis next year, or should they try and just keep the team that they have right now?
Hey guys, cheers for making it to the end of the video. Really appreciate your time and listening to our opinions. Whether you agree or disagree with us, please drop a comment down below. Let us know. We're just trying to learn and grow our channel. And talking to growing our channel, feel free to drop us a subscribe as well. Really help us grow, really get our name out there. Really appreciate it.